Hey, Kurt Sasso here from TGT at Fan Expo Canada 2011. We're here at the Renegade booth with, of course, director, comic artist extraordinaire, Alexander. How are you doing today?
I'm very good, Kurt. How are you doing?
Doing wonderful. Thanks for asking. You know, I happened to pop by the booth here, and I was fascinated by the variety of products you had here. But the one thing that really caught my eye was, of course, your comic Shades of Grey. And tell us what that's all about.
Okay, well, Shades of Grey is a comic that came about because I directed a movie 10 years ago called 24 Hours in London. And to celebrate the 10th anniversary of the movie being in cinemas, we thought, why don't we turn it into a comic book? And it just so happened that I managed to persuade my favourite comic book artist at the time, William Simpson, who'd come off the back of doing Batman, Hellblazer, Predators vs. Aliens, loads of really great stuff. I persuaded him to do my storyboards. And it led to him getting a career going in movies. So he now does storyboards for Hollywood movies, and he's doing Game of Thrones for HBO. Right as we speak, he's doing season 2. So it was kind of a good way for us to celebrate his new career, and my career is now moved into comics more than movies. So I rewrote the story, turned it from 24 hours into 24 pages, and I was able to fix some of the things that I didn't like about the movie. So these were my favourite characters in the film, and they only lasted 20 minutes, and they died. So I was able to say, well, what had happened if they'd survived that shootout? What would have changed? You know? So I rewrote the whole of the script based around that event, and came up with a very different story. And I think it's a very, very good story, and probably slightly better than the movie, because I learned some of the mistakes in the storytelling that I made with the film. So it's out now, it's selling really well, and it's gone down so well that, and we've enjoyed doing it so much that we're going to do another story in the series, so which will be called 24 Days in Rio, and that'll be out next month.
Awesome, good stuff. Now, what is it about the comic book change from being a director in film to comic book? What is the true influence for you to switch to that genre?
I've always loved comic books. I think a comic book is the closest thing you can find to a movie in a static form, in a printed format. So the ability to see a creator's vision, not just the words, but the images that they're thinking of, is fantastic. And where the similarities come between comics and movies is the collaboration. Now, I'm a writer, I can't draw for shit. So I have to rely on other people's imaginations to bring my imagination to life. So finding the right artist to work with is very crucial. And thankfully, William is amazing at what he does. And the way he will take my script for a page, and the way I work with Will is, I think it's the Marvel way of working, in that I will script what happens in a page, but I won't break it down by panel. He then looks and he goes, I think we need 9 panels, and they should be like this, and this is the way it should change around. Usually I agree with him. Very, very rarely do I think there's a different way of doing a page. And he'll ignore me anyway and do what he thinks, because he is just so damn good. He's a fantastic artist.
You know, you also have some other products here as well. Let's talk about some of that. Let's go with the Turning Tiger. We have some really amazing products, but most notably, I think you have is that Shame book over there.
Let me grab one of these. Right, Shame Conception is our new graphic novel. It's only been out a few weeks, and it's already been selling really well with Diamond. It's a dark fairy tale from the imagination of Laverne Kanzersky, who's just standing over here, and John Bolton, the very well-known painted comic artist. So the great thing with this book is that every page is a watercolour canvas. So John paints, no digital, the whole thing has been painted in watercolour, and the artwork is absolutely stunning. It's a trilogy of books, with one each year for the next 3 years. John's already working hard on book 2, and it's a grown-up story. You know? It's the kind of story that when it was pitched to me, I thought we have to publish this straight away. I don't care how long it takes or how much we need to invest in it. It's a great story, and it's going down really well. And what we have noticed is it's selling really well with people who wouldn't normally read a comic book. So we had especially a lot of women coming in, looking at the book, saying they love the artwork, and then reading it, and then coming back the next day at the convention saying, I love the book, I read it last night. Give me the details for the next one. I need to know what happens next in the story, which is fantastic. Yeah, have a look at this book. It's awesome. And And Laverne has just done such a good job with the story. It's a long time to work on it.
You know, Fan Expo Canada is the largest Canadian convention, you know, ever. It's the same lines of New York and, of course, San Diego Comic-Con.
Yeah.
But when you come to this type of convention, you have the Canadian influence, as you see here. What is it about Fan Expo that you enjoy?
What I've really enjoyed so far with Fan Expo is the ability to actually talk to fans. And we have the time to spend 5-10 minutes talking to people that like our stuff or introducing them to the things that we do. It's something that you don't get from just sending your stuff off to the distributor and going out to the stores. You don't get that kind of feedback. All right? Having people here that love what we do and being able to talk to them about what they like is just fantastic. It really makes us happy when someone looks at it and goes, I love it. Like somebody comes over and buys a VMT poster because they love the tagline. You talk to them about the story and then they want to find out about the comic. It's great.
Now, what is it about about creating these types of comics? You know, obviously nothing ever goes smoothly. What type of troubles did you have, and how did you overcome them?
Blimey. Take the War of 1812, for instance. This is a 102-page comic book coming out for the bicentenary of the war, which tells the Canadian story based on the true historical events. Our family caught up in the war, and what happens to a family when another country, America, invades. There's parallels to today's politics and things going on in our world now. But the original artist on the book was George Freeman, who everybody knows from Captain Canuck. He's doing Star Trek and loads of other things. And he worked with us on the book for a year, but for some reason he wasn't able to produce the pages. Luckily enough, Claude Saint-Aubin was available, and I love his work. I think he's brilliant. So he stepped in and took over, but it meant we were a year behind on our schedule. So trying to make up that lost time has been something we've been working towards. And Laverne's been doing a brilliant job with the colouring. Claude is working faster than he's ever worked before to try and catch up lost time. I don't know if you guys can see, but the kind of the work that these guys are doing is just awesome. So it's going to be a beautiful book, and it's well worth waiting and not rushing it. But it will be ready by the end of the year, which is a great thing.
That's wonderful. You know, Fan Expo here, I love the convention. I love the people, like meeting yourself here. But once this closes down, once you have to head back to wherever you come from, of course.
Back to Alberta.
I guess back to Alberta while it's still warm.
2 more days.
Exactly. What personal experience are you going to take away from being behind the counter as you are?
What am I going to take back from Fan Expo? Well, apart from the stuff that I've been buying from all the other exhibitors here, like thanks Tony Moore, meeting people like yourselves. You know, up until now, you were a website. The other people that I've met were just websites or blogs, or maybe a handle on Facebook or a Twitter account. So it's now putting faces and people, personalities to the internet world that we live in at the moment. So lots of new friends, lots of new contacts. I think we'll be back next year based on how much of a good time we're having so far. And it's only Friday. We've still got the madness of Saturday to come. Looking forward to it.
It's crazy, I know.
Yeah.
I just want to thank you so much for taking the time to do this interview. It's been a real pleasure, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your time here.
Yeah.